and theorems and proofs and axioms and lemmas, say, oh, this doesn't come in my domain, I should throw it out. So if you just did the first pass, you will have a bird eye view of the paper. You should know what different sections this one has, what different work this guy has done. If you start reading from the start and you came to the third page where the guy did the modeling and the problem formulation, you say, okay, this doesn't come in my domain, let's get rid of this one. Maybe that paper has something very important, something very useful for you, specifically in terms of experimental setups. Most of the time we have to have some simulations, some experimental setups, so we have to set the values of specific parameters, and this is a very important task. What value should I set? Which data set should I use? Which distribution should I consider? So if by using a bird eye view you can get, okay, this guy has something important, some data set, some trace, some experimental setup, some parameter values, some specific distribution, probability distribution, then you should have that in mind. Okay, I'm not going to read this one, I'm not going for the second pass, but still I can find something useful in it and go grab that thing useful out of the paper and note it down. Okay, that's why first pass is important. In any case, if you have already done the first pass, you don't need to go through the introduction and abstract again. So in the second pass, read the paper with greater care but ignore details such as proofs or how the algorithm works. Do not tense yourself with how this equation has been solved. How did he come with this equation? How did he come with this model? How is this algorithm working? What is meant by these signs and symbols? Okay, wait. Just go through the details carefully so that you can understand the crux of the paper. What is the problem he is tackling? How he is attacking the problem, how he is trying to solve the problem, how he is evaluating his research, how he is finding the solutions, what are his results, how did he compare his results with the others. These are the important stuff that you have to consider in the second pass. Okay? Do not go to the proofs and theorems and algorithms, how they are working, the nitty-gritty and the under the hood details. Just leave them till now. So again, very important thing, look carefully at the figures, diagrams and other illustrations in the paper, because sometimes a good illustration, a good image in the paper gives you more idea than what you are reading. You can understand it better. So try to see what they have done. Moreover, it gives you an idea how you can present your model, your framework illustratively. How you can illustrate your model, your setup, your problem, your domain, your area. Okay? Specifically, pay attention to the graphs. What graphs that guy made? Honestly, the graphs made in Excel and simple bar graphs and line graphs, they give you an impression that this guy doesn't seem to be very professional, because as you actually become more expert, you try to present your results in a professional way, using professional software, using professional graph. I'm not saying you can't use Excel, but like Excel doesn't, it's not that good. Most of the researchers actually they use GNU plot, maybe MATLAB and lots of other stuff. Okay, and even if it's in Excel, it's perfectly fine. But look, how are the axes labeled? What are the values on the axis? You can just by looking at the graphs you may understand the full experimental setup. If on one side there is number of machines and on other side there is the energy consumption, you may know this guy has computed the energy. If on one side there is number of migrations and on the other side there is the network utilization or the packet drop or the throughput or the delay, you can instantly know that this guy has done some work in networks as well. If there is some other thing, for example, quality of experience, quality of service, or any other thing, by looking at the graphs you can know what experiments or what parameters this guy has used. And you can instantly know, okay, if I am more interested in energy, I can refer this paper. I can read this paper. I can see how did he find the energy. Maybe he has an energy model. And so on. Okay? See, results shown with error bars or not. Like there are sometimes we'll see there might be the probability of the error or there is this deviation. How much the results deviated. For example, it's random thing. If you are doing some random stuff, how many times did he run the experiment? Did he run it one time and he just chose the best results and presented over here, or did he actually used like he run the experiment for 10 times up to a specific confidence interval or up to a specific the standard deviation or whatsoever? It tells you how minutely did the researcher actually look into the results. This will distinguish a good paper. A good paper will have very strong results section, detailed results section. Also, remember to mark relevant unread references for further reading. For example, when you are reading now, you have to go to the related work. So you can find, okay, I have found this paper, but this guy is referring to another guy who was working in another stuff in the same area, because related work is actually presenting the papers or the previous works in the same area. So you may mark some or find some more useful references. That's why I told you from one paper you can get 5 new papers, and from those 5 you may get 20, 10, 15, whatsoever. Okay, but you have to be careful. Okay, where should second pass take us? The second pass should take up to an hour. Maybe for your case it may be 2 hours, it may be even 3 hours, it may be even 4 hours. It's fine. You are in start of your research. Okay, do not actually expect things to be very clear. Maybe in a specific field your first paper may take even days or even weeks. Why? Because there might be lots of other things, lots of other details that the people have used, but you don't know about them. In that specific field, there might be lots of jargon. There might be lots of technical things in that field, or there might be lots of things related to statistics, mathematics, linear algebra, maybe calculus. Lots of stuff might be there that you don't know. But once you go through all that stuff, then you can once you go through all those things, you are well expert in that specific area, then the papers might take just an hour. Okay, initially when we start reading, we have to do the double things, because we are not used to read the research papers, and definitely we are not used to read the English as well. So first of all, when we read, we actually translate it in our mind, and then we try to understand what the guy is saying. So it will take you a double time. So don't worry about it. It's not possible that you start a paper and it will finish in 1 hour. No. Initially it will take time, lots of time. But once you have read like 20, 30, 40 papers of a specific domain, then you say, oh yeah, I have read this paper. I have seen this work. I know what does this word mean? What does this specific technique mean? Oh, I understand it. Okay, then you go quickly. But the first time you will stuck at every step. So don't worry about it. It's part of learning. You are learning. Do not expect the things to be easier in start. Things gradually become easier. Do not expect that when you start reading a paper, you will understand it in the first go. If your advisor gives you a paper, read this paper, this is your base paper, you may have to read it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times to understand what the hell he is saying. It's natural, okay? Do not worry about it. It's part of learning. It's part of your reading exercise. Don't worry. That's why they have given these first, second, third, fourth, fifth step. Go through it and then again come to it. Again go to the details. Then again come to it. Go to the details and so on. So don't worry, okay? And do not expect, specifically the first semester students, do not expect that you start reading a paper and you understand it. It may happen that you start reading a paper, at the end you don't even know what the guy is saying. What is the category? What contributions did he make? Nothing. Okay, don't worry. This is part of the exercise. You will go to another paper, read it, and say, उसने भी ऐसी बात की थी. Okay? Yeah, it means this is something. Oh, you will read another paper. Oh, this one is also using the same terminologies as the previous two ones. So you will gradually start to understand the stuff. Many times it happens, you read a thing, a name, you go to the internet, go to the Wikipedia, something other, go to the whatis.com or definitions, you read it, and okay, I understand now what this is. And when the same terminology comes in the second paper, you are totally out of your mind. What did I read? It's perfectly fine. Do not expect yourself to be the eminent scholars, okay? Do not, please. So it's natural. Be relaxed, just stay focused. Okay, if you don't want to study, just leave the paper, go out, look at the birds, stand in the breeze. Okay, go chat with your mother, your friends, your sister, your brother, your friend. Come on, sit again. Okay, now I'm fresh. Go have a coffee or something like that. Okay, when I went to USA and my advisor gave me some papers, whenever I start looking at them, suddenly some headache actually grabs me. Oh, come on, what to do now? Okay, moreover, I feel so much sleepy. Okay, then I went to doctor. I said, doctor, whenever I try to read something, my headache starts. Really? Yeah, it happens, don't worry. So what's the grade? They have always a chart over there in US from 0 where we have a very smiley face, and at the top, at the 10 level, there's a very grumpy face. Okay, so how do you rate your headache from 0 to 10? 3 maybe? Oh, it's perfectly fine. Just take this aspirin, go away. Then I went to my professor. Sir, whenever I start reading, I feel so sleepy. He gave me a coffee maker. Okay, take this one and take a very strong caffeinated coffee, okay? Okay, sir. Then I used that coffee maker, and whenever I drink the coffee, because we are used to drink it like it for fun, not for like relaxing, like we put a lot of sugar and milk and all that stuff, cream and all that stuff there, and there should be some froth as well. But the Americans, they generally have this big cup full of coffee without sugar, without milk. Okay, so if they offer you a coffee, never take it. Okay. Once I went to my advisor, and he was going to have his coffee. He said, come on, let's have a coffee. I said, okay, sir, let's go. We went to the common room, and there was a coffee maker, so he went. some coffee, made it, and you know how the coffee maker makes the coffee. It actually boils the water and the steam comes, and there's a filter on which we have put the coffee, and actually it drips by drop. Okay, so it's a very strong one. So I said, okay sir, only half cup. Okay, half cup, okay. So there was a 1 hour meeting, so he drank it, and whenever I took a sip, it was so bitter. When will it finish? And finally, when the meeting was over, coffee was still in the cup, and I said, okay, should I put the cup? I'll put the cup in the common room. I went there and threw it in the sink, and I said, thanks God, I'll never drink this again. Okay? So it's good. Take a cup of tea, take a cup of coffee, take a little break, because sometimes your mind is unable to grab, and it's not willing to grab anything. When you are tired, when you are in some tension, then do not try to read the papers, because it will increase your frustration. क्या लिखा हुआ उल्लू के पट्टे ने यार, सीधा नहीं लिख सकते ये. Okay? So be relaxed. Okay? Do not consider that you will understand each and everything. This is another aspect, that ignore some things like this one. Ignore proofs, ignore theorems, ignore actually the implementation details, all that stuff. Ignore it in the second pass. Just try to understand what the guy has done, what's the contribution, what's the methodology, what's the techniques he used, how did he actually did the experiments, what are the results, what is the significance, what are the conclusions, what are the contributions. This is enough for you, okay, till now, till the third pass. So this is all that stuff that we already discussed in a lighter way. Now you can choose to set the paper aside. Why? You don't need this paper, because it was in your domain, it was in virtual machine migration or networks, but in the narrowed down, when you narrowed down your domain, you understood that this was out of your narrowed down domain. It is still something useful for you, but not very useful exactly related to your problem. Return to the paper later, perhaps after reading the background material. You have gone through it. You have seen lots of new terminologies, acronyms, new things there. Okay, keep ignoring them. Okay, what is he saying? Okay. I have gone through it. I understand some crux of the paper. Then go and see. Okay, just highlight or underline those acronyms or words. Go to the internet. Go to the Wikipedia. It's a good thing, because on the Wikipedia, most of the times the definitions or the explanation is given for the normal people, not for the experts. Wherever the research papers are written for the experts, not for the normal people. Okay, even if you write all the details in the research paper in the background, an expert reviewer will reject it. Why the hell are you repeating all the stuff that we all know? So do not expect a research paper to present lots and lots of details. Go to web, go to tutorials, go to Wikipedia, go to surveys of that specific area, and read the stuff first. Try to understand it, but never ever try to cite Wikipedia, because it's not authentic. Anything written on web, it's not authentic. Okay, it may be, it may not be, because it's not peer reviewed. You might upload a page and say something stupid in it, so no one will be going to quote you. If they quote, that guy is stupid actually. Okay, एक मर्तबा जो है वो घोड़े और गधे में बहस हो गई. ठीक है, तो घोड़ा कहता कि ये इस तरह की चीज़ है, और फॉर एग्जांपल कहता कि घोड़े ने कहा कि कौवा काला होता है, गधे ने कहा नहीं कौवा सफ़ेद होता है. दोनों लड़ने लगे. लड़ते लड़ते दोनों बादशाह के पास चले गए, शेर के पास. शेर ने कहा कि भाई इस तरह करो. उसने सारी बात सुनी. उसने कहा गधे को छोड़ दो और ये घोड़े को लाओ और उसको 10 लेतर लगाओ. घोड़ा बड़ा परेशान हुआ, कहने लगा बादशाह साहब मैं क्या भी ठीक रहा हूँ और सजा भी मुझे मिल रही है। मैंने कहा बात ये नहीं है कि तू क्या ठीक रहा है या गलत रहा है, बात यह है कि तू बहस गधे के साथ कर। ठीक है? So try not to cite web links because they are not reviewed. Okay, preserve and go to the third part. Okay, we decide, okay, this one is important paper, so we'll be going to go for third pass. So now this is actually